Greetings to all, this is Aridif, that is Aridif, and this is its spell. We understand all of you desire to know more of the upcoming time period and frame which you see as the month of September in nature. Now we also understand the experience of all of your desires to know the integrated forms of energy and as it pertains to the specific exchange of your personal life and the collective energies in that way. So, of course, we will bring forward what is deemed as the Pleiadian Pulse. But before going in to that pulse, we must express first the two things that we have always expressed first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved in our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement to co-create with all of you in this way. And of course, within that form of great excitement, this experience of co-creating is that level of great excitement and is the form of co-created and individual collective forms of co-creating as well. Now, as you go into the time period that you understand and know as September nature, we have the caveat that we have expressed previously through all expressions. First, that all things that are shared are simply a reflection of the energy that is available for you. All of you can create against the form of natural energy in front of you. All of you can use that which is naturally energetic to your benefit in that experience. You are the creative force in your experience. This is simply a tool to help understand the nature of what is natural and the nature of what naturally may be resistant in your experience. Secondly, the concepts that we share are within two waves of energy. The first wave are humans who are riding forward the first wave of consciousness. Now, of course, there are multiple waves, but a majority of humans land either in one or the other. The second wave normally goes 5 to 7 days staggered with that first layer of energy. So those that we share in the first wave will experience what we share as we share the first week and into the second week. As we share this, the second wave will be experiencing what those in the first wave did in the first week. And of course, you stagger from this area. Now, going into the first week specifically, 1 day is already past in nature. The concept of what the beginning of the month offers is partially what the previous month was releasing. Now there are shifts in the greater collective form as it pertains to becoming more serious, becoming more focused on that in which you desire. The creative forces come stronger for those of you who are creative types. The energy of those who are very sensitive in nature become more sharpened and less affected by others, and focal interest most specifically dealing with that which excites them, that which they feel they are required to do. In that way, many people feel a duty to do something, and that will be sharpened as well. So the concept of wherever your serious focus is required, that energy will be sharpened greatly and falls within that very first week. The consciousness behind that seriousness will depend upon your own personal experience and your own personal perspective. So, of course, when you are dealing with difficulties in relationships, the focus of being serious and how to fix, how to change, how to separate, that energy will be focused upon more deeply, more sharply, and be more present in a more serious way. And of course, there is components and relationships, but we are simply using that as the first example. Those who are working in a concept of sharing something that they are passionate about, where normally they may flow very easily. Normally, it is simply in the moment, I should do what I'm excited to do, may have ideations towards creating a bit more organization in their experience. So all things that are possible, all things that can be focused upon, simply become more sharpened in that way. So that very first week is following the more serious nature of the end of the previous month, and into this experience, sharpen that experience, whatever it may be. Now, as we express going into the second week for those in the first wave, we express that although the seriousness has not abated, that there are more openings in energies of those who may be cooperative by nature. What we mean by those of you who are trying to create something special, something important, something very exciting, there will be support that comes to you in unforeseen ways, or perhaps ways that were ignored previously. So those of you who are trying to create something may find someone who can help you, and this help will come out of nowhere. Those of you who are trying to work on your own inside, who are creating healing forces internally, may be surprised to find a video that has very deeply profound information that helps you. Some of you who are creative in nature, creating art, may hold some level of high inspiration from someone or something that you've just bumped into in your perspective accidentally. But these are all being drawn in as a part of the co-creation. So the serious does not abate, but the energy of those that are excited are there to help reinforce that energy. You will notice that those of you who have been trying to work on anything for long periods of time, the second week may be where you find that last puzzle piece for the key, or motivation to take the project that you are working on onto the next level. And this may be work related, this may be pleasure related, but it all deals with what you personally are trying to create. Now we go into the concept of those by example who may be trying to co-create relationships in a way, romantic interest in a way, sexual co-creation in a way. You may find that you are serious now. You are doing the work that you need to do in order to do this, and the help that may come may simply be someone providing information or showing you what works for them, or it can be a support in the way of that partner coming into your life in a very different way than you may have perceived previous. We also want to share the importance of relationships within this 1 month time period, that this part of your experience is very deeply integrated into relationships, not all of them romantic in nature. Some of you will experience it in that way. Others will perceive simple friendships, partnerships, experiences of those who hold friendship or even partners in work things. This experience will be a very intensive month for all humans who are going through any form of relationship. And as you are all fourth density beings, as all of you are going through the growth and expansion of fourth density consciousness, connections in any iteration are vital. Connections is what fourth density is. All of you are at the very first step of the multitudes of layers of steps required to go and evolve through fourth density. So in this month, connections comes very deeply as an integrated part. So even those of you who are not seeking forms of relationships, you will have all of those relationships in your life show you a great reflection in this time. Now, as you go into the third week, this part of relationships becomes exponentially much different, whereas you may be guided or connected in some smaller way, motivated in some large way, or some expression comes as a very great surprise. The third week will be the iteration of relationships and how it affects you in your experience. Now, in this collective moment, all relationships are going through a process of shifting, All relationships go through that experience all of the time, but the intensity and feeling and the move towards how quickly these relationships evolve in this 1 month time period will be very intense for all of you in some way, shape, or form. Now, what it is specifically about relationships in this month that is most important is that all relationships will be tested in a way that is not normally experienced. Yes, some of you have had negative experiences. Yes, some of you have had relationships tested, even some of you very recently. But this month holds a very strong fire element to relationships. And when we express fire elements, what we mean is it can warm what was once cold, or it can burn away that which is no longer needed. Now we understand what we have shared is a very strong terminology. What we have shared can create fear for some of you. This is not the intention. What we mean, those of you who have been in long-term relationships, those of you who have been in any form of family, friendship, or work relationships, and you have not been happy, this month will show you all of the reasons that you are required to act upon that unhappiness or to fix that which is unhappy. The experiences there that are so powerful in this month of co-creation is to look deeply within the roots of why you are connected to other humans. When you are feeling connected because you simply feel that it is required of you, that energy cannot live long within your own level of growth and development. Feeling obliged to another human being rather than that of naturally connected or naturally desiring a level of co-creation is not strong enough to maintain the bond for most of you through this month period of time. And in the third week, the intensity of that goes from a 7 to a 10. The experience of that for humans who have not been in relationships but have done the work for themselves will find new relationships in this moment. This is about the absolution of old belief systems that do not work, to absolve yourself from those expressions and to find new levels of that energy. One moment as we hydrate. And for those of you who feel absolved from old experiences and have new opportunities to receive, this experience also be very intense. Some forms of relationship, be it romantic, be it work, be it co-creative, be it family, or be it simple friendships, can create great deals of healing in these moments very quickly. But those are only relationships where positivity from both sides prevails. Having the experience of one side not being happy or content and the other side, it will show the difference between those. It will show the contrast between that which is love and that which is not love. It will show both of you the experience of what joys could be or what they should be. And when it shows to you what should be, it can be overwhelming for many of you. In those moments, it may feel as the only answer is a required retreat from that experience. Others who are more sentimental in nature hold a very deep bond between another human, but also hold levels of unhappiness. This intensity may spark you to start doing the work required to be happy. Now, as we share this, there are many more constructs that are integrated into this concept overall. The energy and dynamics of relationships are complex in humans. The experiences of humans and the mental state and the belief systems that they hold are greatly different from human to human. But for the majority of you, regardless of where your relationships are in their experience, will be very subtle initially as you are starting the month. Even those of you who don't care much for relationships with others, who are more alone and to yourself, and withhold your energy from others, it may feel very intense for all of you. So through this experience, you will have the capacity to fix what is broken, to shed what is no longer usable, or to create something very powerful. And all of this may feel very quick. Now, of course, this continues into that last week to the fourth week of that month. It continues as an aspect of intensity, of being shown, of allowing yourself a nurturing. And this is what we suggest. First of all, to focus on what makes you happy in that way, to focus on where the energy of yourself is when you are co-creating with the other person. The experience of finding a new job, the experience of finding a new partner, all may be extremely arduous in the minds. This is what is held off. That level of co-creating with others before, or separating yourself from those relationships that do not work. But the fire and intensity underneath may motivate many of you to act in a way that is not in accordance with that natural alignment. If you do not wish to be hasty, you are able to process this energy, but we don't suggest only processing it through the mental body. This is what creates a great deal of stagnation and resistance in most humans to start with. We suggest allowing your heart to experience the feeling of that experience and then allow your mind to wander afterwards. If you don't allow the processing of the body, if you don't ground yourself in to the level of intensity and emotion, it can be very jarring to your sensory. Now, of course, relationships being a very essential part of that experience, there are still other dynamics that occur. Many of you hold these new opportunities in what you are doing in life. Early in the month and later in the month, new experiences can come to you, new opportunities, new perspectives that have long been pushed away. But the relevancy of those energies are opening to you in that way. So be observant and be true to yourself. Allow yourself the integrated process of connecting to your heart, grounding to the earth, and perceiving through that emotional body, and most of this will be much easier for you in the experience. Remember that if intense emotion comes, that this is highly acceptable, this is perfectly normal, this is the human experience and the earth experience. But also remember, the concept in which you grow in earth, the concept which you evolve in earth, has to do with joy, has to do with living in your excitement, and you're not able to do so if you are grounded in others' excitements and joy only, or even in others' misery and disconnection. Allowing yourself to be happy allows you to co-create with happier experiences. Now, the continuation of this concept goes eternally. There are many dynamics that are very heightened and lowered in this entire month period. But these are the main aspects that most of you will find most noticeable throughout the month. We wish to express to all of you that as we share these concepts, we feel the responses in the human consciousness. We understand that some of you naturally hold fear when it comes to these very intensive constructs, but we also wish to share with you the fear that you hold as a reaction to the intensity and possibility of intensity that we share also comes from the experiences that you have held in trauma, that you have held inside of your personal energetic field and belief systems. Remember to work with that consciousness as it comes through. That feeling is perfectly acceptable. We also wish to share with you, as you reflect back the energy to ourselves, we are able to perceive parts of our consciousness that we have never perceived before. You are growing, so too do we grow in that way. We congratulate all of you for your growth, and of course we thank you for our growth as well. We wish to bid all of you adieu for this day, knowing not only are you loved, but we love you as well.